Hey, good morning and welcome to day 2. You made it. Now I just got done burning rubber, so you'll have to excuse me. I look a little rough around the edges. Just kidding. I primed for hours to look this good. Just kidding. Again. Okay, to business. Quit kidding. The question I'm here to answer today is why would you want to coach and make an income? And so I think that's kind of funny because I sit back here and I'm like, well, why not? It's something that I absolutely love. I get to reach into people's lives. I get to make a difference. I get to help people hit their goals. And in doing that, it helps transform their lives. It impacts everybody in their family and their circle, making life better. So why not get rewarded for me working hard? Okay, so this is what I have to offer. Now, granted, I get it. You're sitting here thinking, you're listening to me talk and you're thinking, can I see myself doing this? And I get that I wasn't a teenage girl who was sitting there going, well, someday I'd love to be a Beachbody coach. No, life brought me to this crossroad and it just happened to be a Cinderella slipper fit. That's all I can say. And it might be the same for you or it might not, but guess what? As a teacher, I was a teacher. I have my master's degree, and I chose to teach art. That's my love language, and it was art that kept me in school. And guess what? The reality behind teaching is not as glamorous as sitting back in college going, I'm going to be an art teacher and I'm going to change the world. I'm going to reach these kids and I'm going to propel them in life. And I'm going to help them get to college. I'm going to help them realize that their whole life is not high school, that it's a whole wide world out there and they can impact the world and they can be the change and, all these great things that I got into teaching to do did not match up with the reality of teaching. Most of you know, and you've probably heard the joke or participated in the joke that teaching, we make a whole lot of money. Oh, wait, no. We don't make a whole lot of money. And in fact, on top of that, there's not a whole lot in the budget. So as a teacher, I had a computer that didn't work for 5 weeks. And I had a smart board and no projector. So I didn't ever get to use that. And I got $100 a year to spend on art supplies for 173 students. So there's that. And found myself dipping into my salary, which was not that big, to buy supplies for kids who didn't really want to be in the class because they stuffed so many kids in these classes. So there was my reality. So I got into teaching to do this great and noble thing, which is why most people get into teaching, except there was no support and there's no funding and there were a bunch of grumpy teachers around me. My colleagues were like stressed and all that. So I knew I had to go looking because also on top of that, there's no raises either. So there's like this big old lid on my salary. And it doesn't matter how many kids I moved to college or how many kids I inspired to change the world or how many kids get their life from like a wreck and then give them something to live for and like dream for. It didn't matter how many of those people I impacted. So it was frustrating. So then I found Beachbody Coaching, and lo and behold, I get to do the same things that I set out to do as a teacher, except now I get a high five from the company, and they're like, good job, Heidi. I see you working. You're doing great things. You're doing exactly what our mission is setting out to do, which is to get people healthy so they can enjoy the best part of their life and live a healthy life. And I see you and high five, and here's a paycheck every Thursday. And oh, by the way, there's no salary cap. So you're paid based on your efforts and how many people's lives you impact. So I'm living out my dream of teaching, except now my teaching avenue is health and wellness. And I find that I'm much more effective when I'm being paid for my efforts and when people recognize me, like with a free ticket to Summit and like these great things, like they send me leadership books and they just reward you for helping people. Like it's the best job ever. So yeah, I didn't set out to do this, but I'm super grateful and I feel completely blessed and like just like I've been given this opportunity to fulfill what I wanted to do with my life in another way. Because the people that I get to help have people in their lives that they get to help. And so it's basically starting this ball rolling, or like creating this ripple effect that is payment in itself. So that's really it in a nutshell. Why not? Oh, here's the other great thing, is it's allowed me to dream again. So I now am coming at life going, if there's no cap, if there's no limit, if I could have time freedom, what would that mean for my family? I could take my kids to see the world. I could broaden their horizons. I could pay for my entire student loan by myself quickly, instead of this 30-year plan to pay a student loan. No, thank you. I'll have it paid in the next year and a half. And it's all by meeting really awesome people and helping them hit their goals. And so what is your dream? If you, and this doesn't have to replace your full-time job. Some of you may love your full-time job. That just wasn't my story. So what could you do to supplement your income for fun money? What would you do with it? Because I would love to have a house with a pool someday that I don't have to complain about. People often complain about their houses and maintaining their pools. And I would like to be in a place where, like, I create a house and a home for my family, for my kids, to where this is the fun place to be. My kids want to be at our house and bring their friends over. And it's fine. I'm not stressed about it or financially in a crunch about it. I'm not in the hole because of it. But I'm able to live a super generous life. You see, I also have this dream and this mission to reach into people's lives. Let's see if I can reach it real quick. Here's one. I have 3 beautiful children, and my goal is to have 10, who I sponsor every single month so that they can have an opportunity to live out their dream. So this is funding somebody else's dreams. It's like a big, happy circle. I'd also love to drive an International Scout. For those of you who have no idea what that is, it's like this old, awesome, it's kind of like a Bronco, but better because it's a Scout, and it's going to have a roll bar and this big lift and these big tires and all this awesome stuff. But it's old and it's going to need to be maintained. And so I don't want it to sit in my yard as a rusty trophy. I want to drive that thing. I want to maintenance it. And I want it to be souped up and sweet looking. So I don't want to have to worry about money or, I don't know. I want to be generous. I want to be insanely generous, and I want to move my family forward. And I want to expose them to things that I never had as a kid. And I want to be generous. I want my kids' art teachers to feel so appreciated. I want to fund their art projects and their art field trips. And wouldn't that be cool? Just because I reach into people's lives and I help them move forward. There we go. So what would you do with a supplemental income for getting paid just to help people, your family, your friends, whoever? Why the heck not get paid? Start dreaming, start living again. That's my invitation to you. Have fun.